Hey guys, it's towniesimbuilds here, and welcome back to another build. Now, as you can tell from the title of today's video, we are touring the house from Freaky Friday, and if you guys are not familiar with this film, this came out in 2003, starring Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, if you're wondering why I built this very old house from this old film, the movie is actually celebrating its 20th anniversary. And if you guys are fans of the film itself, a sequel is actually in the works with both of the lead actresses. So I really hope you guys enjoy this full-on recreation. With that said, let's head on over to the world of Willow Creek and check out the build. Alright guys, and here we are with a full view of the lot. This is the Coleman house seen in Freaky Friday, and if you guys are wondering about the house itself, it is a house that exists in California. So this build was primarily based off the movie, but I did try to locate the true address and reference the house itself. Now the style is more or less, I would say, a nautical colonial style, if you will. And if you guys are wondering why the windows on the left are a little bit janky, that is actually how they appear in real life and in the movie itself. We just had a look at the garage, and above the garage is of course Anna's room. And for the side and backyard area, I had to do a little bit of improvising. I couldn't find any good realty sites to get better views of the house, but I did include this really large backyard area that is partially seen in the movie, so I did have to do a little bit of kind of creative imagineering, if you will, but we will get into that in just a little bit. Apart from that, there is also an upstairs balcony. We do see a little bit of that in Tessa's room, or Jamie Lee Curtis's room in the movie. Again, I'm not sure if it's truly part of the house in real life, but I did want to include that detail. But anyways, we're going to spin the lot back around and check out the lot in different forms of lighting. We are currently in the afternoon view right now, going into the evening view, followed by the nighttime view with a lot of the garage lights lit up nicely there. Back to the morning view. And finally returning to the afternoon, where we will take a look inside. So starting off our tour today is the first floor of the build. And of course, because this is a movie build, there will certainly be a lot of spoilers here. But beginning the tour, we have a look at the front entrance area, and this is actually seen quite a bit in the movie. If you guys remember, when Anna and Tess switch bodies, they actually peer over the staircase trying to watch Harry and Grandpa Harry eat at the breakfast table there. And we also see Ryan coming into this space as well. And I think that is when Jamie Lee Curtis says, "Can you like chill for a sec?" after they switch bodies. So pretty iconic scenes there, especially when the two actresses are in the staircase itself. And I did want to include a lot of the same details seen in the film itself. One of the details was actually a skateboard that I believe belonged to Harry, and I ended up using the Parenthood object to emulate that detail. Now, I will also say that if you guys remember a lot of the design back then in the movie, Tess had a very interesting sense of style. I don't really know how to describe it per se. It's a little bit more traditional, but she does also have some tropical influences. It's quite weird, so definitely not my cup of tea, but I did try to emulate that the best I could. Anyways, this is one of the living rooms seen in the house, and it's actually seen for a very brief moment towards the end of the film. So I do believe it is the night of the rehearsal dinner, and the gifts that are on the table, I believe, are for Tessa's and Ryan's engagement, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, here is a slightly more iconic area, or actually much more iconic area, and this is the central dinner or breakfast table, if you will. Probably one of my favorite moments from the film is when Lindsay Lohan's younger brother Harry is dancing on the table. I think he's wearing one of Lindsay Lohan's bras or Anna's bras, so pretty funny scene, and I did want to include that table for sure. Over here is just a look at the main living room or family room area, and we do get to see multiple glimpses of this, but unfortunately I don't think any of the characters actually use this space, but it was pretty fun to recreate. Now with that said, I did mention that there was a sort of backyard patio area, so we never really got a true shot of this, but there are two large sort of window doors leading towards the backyard, so we do get a little peek out there, and I did want to make a family dining room area outside. Moving in, we do have a look at the kitchen area, and this I tried to create with as much detail as I could. Jamie Lee Curtis as Tess is in this space quite a bit in the beginning of the movie. I think at this point Anna is blasting the music in the garage and she can't hear anyone, but this is a look at the space itself. So pretty spacious, lots of counters, appliances. She does have a more sort of cutting board island in the middle, if I can explain it right, and of course a bay window full of plants and flowers. Now the view that we do see in the movie is what I'm about to show here, and this does cover the kitchen itself and of course a view at the dining nook, or dining room area I should say, it's not really a nook, and of course the living room itself. Now like I said, at this point in the movie, Anna's band is pretty loud, and I did want to include this really fun detail here. At this point, Tess, or Jamie Lee Curtis, comes over and she goes to the, I guess it's called a circuit breaker or electrical box, and she pretty much disables the power to the garage itself. So really fun moment. That is also where we get to see a good look into the kitchen itself. And then over here, this is actually an area that I had to improvise. So we don't really see this back hallway area behind the garage, but I just thought it was a nice, sort of comfortable place. Coming back out, I do know that there was an end table with some pictures, just trying to make some very quick judgment calls based on some of the quick clips from the movie. So yeah, very tricky. Unfortunately, we never get full views of everything, but I did the best I could. So with that said, with this particular space, I did have to take a little bit of creative leeway. And this space is Grandpa Harry's bedroom. So I figured, Grandpa Harry is a little older. It's probably easier if he does have a bedroom on the first floor, and he does also have an ensuite bathroom. So again, not seen in the movie, but I did want to include this detail. Now his room does have a lot of cool little nods to his grandkids, so I did use the little craft project from Parenthood, and also some toy cars from base game. So I figured that perhaps these could have been gifts from Harry, and of course a gift from Anna herself, probably when they were younger. This is just a quick look at the bathroom. Pretty simple, pretty fitting to the early 2000s, I would say. And more or less, most of the bathrooms are quite similar, with the Parenthood wallpaper, tile flooring, toilet, sink, and a shower bathtub combination. Completing our tour of the first floor is a very iconic space seen heavily throughout the beginning of the movie. And that, of course, is the garage. Obviously, Tess has allowed Anna to transform this into a full-on band room for her and her friends, and this was a really crazy space to design. There was just so much clutter. I did my best to reference a lot of the stills from the movie itself, so we do have a lot of speakers, guitars. We didn't have a drum set, but I did put in the City Living keyboard there. And of course, the band room is not complete without tons of rock posters along the wall. Now, funny enough, it was mixed in with a lot of just regular kind of household storage stuff, if you will. So we do have some pseudo washing machines back there, a lot of old holiday decorations that are actually seen in the movie. And these actually do include the light up Santa on the left, and also some smaller Halloween decorations on the right. We do also have what I presume to be the family Christmas tree, and also a grill that's probably been out of use for some time now. Completing our tour today is the second floor of the build, and this floor honestly is a combination of areas seen in the movie and also rooms of my own creation. Starting us off, of course, is one of the more iconic spaces in the film, and this is Tess's bedroom. And we do see this shot right here pretty early on in the film. She's trying to do some yoga and meditation while doing her nails, which I think was really funny. It was a really fun detail. But we do get to see her bedroom in every different angle, so I was able to recreate it more or less verbatim. She does have a fireplace here that I do believe is defunct, but more importantly, there is the standing mirror there with the iconic Crypt Keeper moment, which was very funny if you guys saw the movie. She does also have a little corner area towards the bottom right of the screen, and unfortunately from what I saw, there is no closet connected to this bedroom space, but she does have tons of dressers kind of strewn about. And I did also try to recreate this kind of inset window seating moment, if you will. Now, I will say that the Sims won't sit perfectly in these, but these are semi-functional. I also included the armchair from the cottage living pack. And I do believe Jamie Lee Curtis does sit there in the film, but at this point, Anna is within her body, and both of them are pretty much freaking out on Freaky Friday. What exactly are they going to do to reverse this unfortunate event? But anyways, here is a look at the ensuite bathroom. This unfortunately is not pictured in the film, but I did put in a toilet, a shower tub combination, and also a double vanity. Now, I don't know about you guys, I don't think we ever found out what exactly happened to Tess's husband, or aka Anna and Harry's father. I think he may have passed away due to health issues or maybe an accident, but you guys are going to have to let me know if you guys remember details from the film. Unfortunately, that detail is a little murky in my head. But anyways, we are moving out from the hallway. The hallway I did try to recreate as best as I could, trying to get those different angles. But this space right here is actually of my own creation. And this was actually sort of a spare bedroom moment that I turned into what could be Tess's office. So if you guys watch the film, she obviously has sort of her own practice in another sort of commercial or office building space, if you will. But I thought it was cool to have an office here as well. Especially early on in the film, she is a very hardcore workaholic. So she's very goal-oriented, she's very ambitious. So I do have a space for her here with a desk, a computer, and because she is a therapist, I thought perhaps she could be taking some cases, probably in her own home office. She does have spaces for her clients there, so yeah, that's the best I could figure out for her own space. Anyways, here is another look at the hallway, again recreated from the movie. And if you guys saw that weird sign on Anna's room, that is also a detail from the film. I think she does have some kind of keep out sign, and yeah, we don't really have something like that in The Sims, but that was the closest I could get. And of course, on the morning where they switch bodies, there is a scene where Harry kind of runs around the hallway into his mother's room, so her room is almost directly across from Tess's room. Anyways, going on in now, we are looking at Harry's bedroom. And unfortunately, I don't think we ever get a shot of his room, so this was purely out of my own imagination and more or less what I created for him as a character. Now, if you guys remember him in the film, he is a very rambunctious kid. I wouldn't say he's the smartest or wisest, but I would think he loves getting into mischief, probably loves sports, video games, has a lot of toys, probably not the cleanest and most tidy kid, so he does have a lot of clutter on the floor. But his room also does come with a little ensuite bathroom. I think his ensuite bathroom is a little bit bigger than his grandpa's, but here it is more or less, just with another standing shower and tub combination, sink and toilet, and complete with the Parenthood whale rug there, just to add a little bit of a sort of a fun vibe to the bathroom itself. Otherwise, the bathroom is fairly straightforward. He also has a little tiny closet, unlike Tess, and his closet does contain some clothing and also a overflowing toy chest that I believe is from the Parenthood pack. But anyways, moving on towards the end of the hallway now, we get into Anna's room, the iconic Lindsay Lohan, and we will get into her space. Now, her space was very challenging to create. There was actually a lot of stills that I found out while I was building, and I constantly had to adjust her room to match the movie. But here it is quite large. It is located right on top of the garage itself, and unlike her character, her bedroom is actually very pink and floral as well. But she does bring a lot of her grungy, sort of punk vibes to it with a lot of the rock posters. And just like her brother, and probably a little bit worse, she is a very messy teen. So lots of clothing strewn about. There is sort of this entertainment console that she has, and it's not shown in the film, but I did find some stills that do illustrate that. So she does have her computer, a sort of stereo system, a TV, a guitar, and a giant speaker. We do also have this view of her room. This is the view when Jamie Lee Curtis comes to try and drag her out of bed, which is hysterical. And of course, there is the mirror when she freaks out. So at that point, that is when Tess is in Anna's body, and she realizes, what exactly is she doing in her daughter's room? And then finds out that something really is in disarray here. Anyways, just like the film, Anna also has an ensuite bathroom, so I did try to kind of mirror it to her brother and also her mother's design, but with a little bit of her own touches in there. So she does have the guitar or yeah, an acoustic guitar rug from Parenthood, also some Parenthood mirrors with a little bit of stickers and other decor on there. And then going back out, we do have the final area of the build. So in this part, she does have a little closet of her own towards the back, and there is also the closet here from the hallway itself. So again, not really part of the film, but I did my best to try and make sense of the layout and utilize it in the best way I could. So here's Anna's closet with some of her clothes, possibly outfits she could be wearing with her band, and also some suitcases for her instruments as well. So looking at the lot specs as a whole, this is in fact a 40 by 30 lot. So it's certainly not too large and can also fit into a variety of different Sims 4 worlds. The lot type is of course set to residential, so if you are a fan of Freaky Friday and want to recreate the household, or if you'd like to use this for another family, this lot is absolutely perfect for that. In terms of packs, we still stick with our 4-pack limit. This of course uses base game, but also uses content from Get Together, City Living, Cottage Living, and also the Parenthood game pack. Now on another note, there is technically a 5th pack, which is the Holiday Celebration pack, but as always, this pack is free, so you don't have to worry about purchasing it. Alright guys, and that is a wrap on the Coleman house from Freaky Friday. Now if you guys are fans of the film, please feel free to let me know whether I did this house justice, did I get all the details in, and do you have a favorite scene from the film itself? Now if you guys also have more ideas for other films or movie builds that I should do, please feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments as well. You guys know I love hearing all of your thoughts and feedback, and as always, this has been 𝗧𝗛𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏